Hi, I'm Shreepali. I'm a divorce specialist at Amicable. I'm joined today by Tom Francis, a financial expert at Octopus Money. We're here to talk about how to manage the financial anxiety many people may have felt after Rachel Reeves' recent budget speech. A lot of people are worried about what the future might look like, and this has been felt even more strongly by those who are separating or thinking about starting that journey. When you're already managing a big emotional shift, hearing about rising costs or financial uncertainty can feel overwhelming. It's completely natural to feel unsettled.
Yeah, I totally agree, especially at this time of the year. As I'm sure many people have seen, there are lots of kind of rumors being spread about what might come out of the budget later this month. And that's really unhelpful. I think, especially at a time when journalists like people to be interested and excited about the things that might be announced. But ultimately, when we're planning our finances, we really want certainty, and we don't really want excitement. But it's looking like some things are going to be changing, which is a little bit anxiety inducing. So hopeful that this video will help people understand how to manage these things, which, yeah, no two ways about it, do cause nerves.
Yeah, absolutely. The first thing I'd say to anyone who's being taken over by that sort of financial anxiety is to focus on what you can control. If you're separating, the most important work is closer to home. You can control the pace at which you move, you can control how you communicate with your partner, and you can also choose to get the right support so that you understand your situation. None of this removes the wider noise, but it gives you firmer ground to stand on.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I think whenever we work with customers or people who are looking to kind of take control or feel control with their finances, I agree. Start with the things that you can actually measure and manage. There are so many things talked about, especially in the press, about, budget deficits and pension gaps and so on. And these feel like really big, scary topics. And you kind of think, where on earth should I start? Especially if you're going through a kind of a change of relationship. So probably two things I would recommend that people really think about is start with the now. Think about your budgeting. How much are you spending? What kind of income are you receiving at the moment? These are things that hopefully you can get your hands on quite simply, and gives you a bit of a solid starting point.
Yeah, absolutely. Take one small step this week when everything feels overwhelming. The most helpful thing is often the smallest thing. This week, your step might be writing down what you're most worried about, or it could be speaking to someone neutral so your thoughts don't stay stuck in your own head.
Yeah, exactly. And I often find this when we work with individuals that often kind of perfect or the thought of trying to be perfect can be the enemy of good. And you end up thinking, if I can't get something spot on straight away, I'm better off doing nothing. And I'm just going to kind of put my head in the sand, which is totally human and a natural thing to do. But something I would really recommend that people try to do is exactly as you said, Tripali, is just take one step. And that one initial step might be get your hands on some statements. Now, there's lots of things that we can do with those statements, whether they be bank statements or maybe pension statements that you might have. But don't stress about what we're going to do with those. Just focus on getting your hands on them to begin with, and then we can build on that momentum later on, and start tweaking things beyond there.
Yeah, absolutely. And just kind of following on from that, to not do it alone. Separation can feel really lonely, especially when money feels light or the national picture feels really confusing or uncertain. But you don't have to carry that by yourself. Sharing that emotional load with someone who understands the processes can help you feel grounded again. So taking things through usually brings relief because you realize your feelings make sense.
Yeah, exactly. And the age-old saying that I love is a problem shared is a problem halved often. We are not born as financial experts. And unfortunately, it's not currently on the curriculum. I think anybody listening to this probably didn't sit GCSEs in financial planning. So don't worry, you're not meant to have all of the answers. But just be aware that there are lots of services available now that do exist to help with these things and can hopefully provide a little bit of light when things feel murky and really difficult to kind of get through. So, the likes of Octopus Money are here to help. We offer one-to-one human support to everybody, no matter what kind of wealth or background that you might have. And so just make sure that you're aware you're not alone in these things.
Absolutely. And even with the noise surrounding the budget, you can still, like Tom said, with services that Octopus offer, help to shape your next steps. Focus on what is within your control. Take one small step this week, and please don't do this alone. Support makes the journey steadier.
Exactly. Yeah, and I'd say, don't rush things. I think we've seen so many times in recent history people feeling like you need to make all of the solutions and actions within a couple of days. You don't. Take your time, take small steps as we've mentioned, and you'll be amazed how that momentum can carry you through really tricky times to hopefully breeding a sense of control.